Think that, you'd gain national fame as Ernest P. Worrell, the guy who
never in my wildest dreams.
Really? No, I never did.
All you cyberpunks and retro nerds out there, it's your host, Tommy the Hammer. Welcome to my special Christmas video review. Today we're going to be checking out the late 1980s comedy classic, Ernest Saves Christmas. Now, any child of the 1980s will tell you that they grew up with the comedian Jim Varney and the show Hey Vern, It's Ernest. That was a classic show from back in the day. I remember when they would air it, it was like on at 6 in the morning, right before Saturday morning cartoons. And, I was one of those kids that just didn't like to get a lot of sleep. I was up real early, I'd pop on the old TV and watch a little bit of Hey Vern, It's Ernest, and I loved that show. It was very surreal, kind of like a hillbilly version of Weird Al Yankovic. Well, this guy was definitely popular back in the day, and in my humble opinion, I feel like this movie, Ernest Saves Christmas, is definitely the peak of his popularity. I remember when this film came out, and everyone loved it. A teacher of ours back in elementary school even played it right before Christmas break for everybody, and it was a big hit in the classroom. Everyone saw this movie, so it's been a long time since I've actually watched it, and you guys know this part. I'm itching to refresh my memory on it. Check out the trailer, peep that shit. When we guys get back, you guys are gonna know my motherfucking opinion on Ernest Saves Christmas.
There have been many traditional ways to celebrate Christmas. With songs, with gifts, with family and friends. There's a new way.
Ho, 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 Vern.
With Ernest P. Worrell. He's back.
Know what I mean?
Back to save Santa.
Santa's in the slammer.
Look at those beady, twinkling eyes.
Back to save Christmas. Back to save faith.
You dead meat.
That's life for you. Isn't she a doll?
Ernest P. Worrell.
Mr. Funtime.
In the mission they said couldn't be done.
On Comet, on Cupid, on Donder.
In the movie they said shouldn't be done.
Sophie, Scruffy, Blister.
You guys say you have a problem with reindeer?
Trim the tree. Light the candles. Deck the halls. And hit the deck. 'Cause Ernest P. Worrell's coming to town. And he's coming
with colorful cards and festively wrapped packages. Air brakes.
Ernest Saves Christmas.
All right, guys, I just got done watching the movie Ernest Saves Christmas, and straight away, I just want to say that if you didn't grow up with Jim Varney's show, Hey Vern, It's Ernest, or his movies, Ernest Goes to Camp and Ernest Goes to Jail, and then eventually Ernest Scared Stupid, well, then I can't see a lot of kids today, or audiences today in general, getting behind the movie Ernest Saves Christmas. The nostalgia is strong with this one, as the saying goes. But Jim Varney, in my opinion, is such a likable comedian. His movies are very innocent. He has the same appeal as Pee Wee Herman or Weird Al Yankovic. It was that kind of punk rock, new wave, 1980s experimental period of, children's shows where I feel like Hollywood producers and, TV producers really actually took a chance with these hosts. They weren't afraid to have a goofy, eccentric character with an insane sense of style being the head of these shows. And, that's something that's really not prevalent today. You don't really see, the Ernests or the Pee Wee Hermans of today. There's something about 1980s movies about the holidays and road trip movies and, you know, these characters that you would see in TV shows getting their own motion picture, a big budget studio picture that really appealed to me, and it made it feel completely larger than life. And as I was sitting here watching this movie, I was like, man, these are truly more innocent times in a way. The special effects of this movie are almost non-existent until the very end when Ernest actually flies the fucking sleigh, and the animatronic reindeer are, you know, shown very seldomly throughout the film. So you could tell that the budget for this movie was kind of exceptionally small, and, you know, the studio really relied on actor Jim Varney to carry the weight. His notoriety, his likability, the fact that people, you know, grew up watching his TV show, and the idea of Ernest saving Christmas was definitely appealing back in the day. I mean, this is a kid's movie through and through. In terms of a Christmas movie, I feel like this really hits all the right notes. You've got great Christmas music, you've got all the decorations, the Christmas trees, the tinsel, the lights, and Santa Claus. I feel like the guy who played Santa Claus did a really good job. There was a certain old world nuance to the character that made him feel a lot more organic than, say, Tim Allen playing Santa Claus. If you were a kid watching this movie in the 80s, you used your imagination with Santa Claus a little bit. And, you know, I don't know about you guys, but when I think of Saint Nick, I think of, you know, the North Pole, I think of, you know, old Earth stuff, as strange as that sounds, and I think of folklore and mythology. And the guy that plays Santa Claus in this movie, he feels like that. He feels like mythology come to life. Ernest trying to help Santa Claus pass this torch. So I really like that idea. I feel like it's realistic for the character of Ernest and, you know, actor Jim Varney. I feel like it sets the stage for a Christmas movie, especially a late 1980s Christmas movie. And at its core, Ernest Saves Christmas is a road film. It's about Ernest and this young girl and Santa Claus and all their misadventures trying to get, you know, this guy to be the new Santa Claus. But with all that being said, guys, I mean, this is not a, you know, holiday classic by any stretch of the word. You know, earlier in the video I said that a lot of young kids would watch this movie today and be like, what the hell's going on? And I still stand by that. I feel like unless you grew up in the 1980s, then you wouldn't really give a shit about this movie whatsoever. And that's fine. I'm cool with that. And I can, you know, look at this movie today with nostalgia and, you know, appreciate it for what it meant to me as a kid. So I don't want to take a deep dive with this movie here because Ernest Saves Christmas is definitely not a movie to take a deep dive into. But in terms of a Christmas film, I don't think this is my favorite one. And if I compare it to another 1980s Christmas movie, Santa Claus the movie, I'd have to say that one is much better. The lore of Saint Nick is a lot more deeper and richer, and the special effects in that movie are definitely omnipresent and kind of psychedelic and surreal. This film is a Jim Varney movie. It is an Ernest movie, and in those regards, I think it's a success. But is it Jim Varney's best film? I would have to lean towards Ernest Goes to Jail. That's probably my favorite Jim Varney comedy. But this one's pretty good. It's innocent, and you know, if you've got people like me from my generation in the 1980s, and, you know, we've got kids, and if they've got kids and they want to show them something that they grew up with, and those kids are fascinated by 1980s culture, then definitely show them this film. It's perfect for the holidays. There's a lot of Christmas music, a lot of Christmas decorations. You've got a great Santa Claus. You've got a pretty innocent adventure here. And you know what? This is the perfect film for the entire family. As hokey as that sounds, I can get into it. So out of 10 stars, I could give Ernest Saves Christmas a solid 5.5 or 6 out of 10.